Welcome back to Madame After Midnight. This is Real Talk in the Kitchen After Hours. I'm your host, Madame Donut, and yes, we are back in the kitchen. It's late in the evening and it's just quiet enough for me to feel and hear everything that I've been holding in all day. But I'm not going to tell you all of that because we only just have a few minutes. So we're going to focus on a topic about the creative process. It's something that I and a lot of people I know wrestle with on an everyday basis. If you're at all a creative or even just somebody who's interested in starting something, you need to be kind of creative to solve the problem of making something happen. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But it's not in a TED Talky kind of expert way. I don't have the framework or the techniques or the system to get you guys going on that like the experts would. I'm just going to talk about my process and how I just keep going at it, how I can keep creating all these years and living what I say a very fulfilling creative life. I'm hoping that whatever I can share this evening is something that could inspire you or get you started again if you're in a rut, which we all get in a rut. I just want to start with the fact that I've never been financially rich, but I've been very blessed living a rich life because of creativity. I've been able to make do with very little, and that's one of the things, or probably one of the core inspirations of my creativity is to make something out of nothing. If you've been following me for a while, you would know that that's how I work. I don't need the most expensive ingredients or the whole team or all of the tools that I need to get going to start. And I've been doing it all my life, and I think it's served me well, and I'm really proud of what I've created so far. I really am the kind of person who would rather create than consume anyway, so I guess I have the right attitude for my means. And I'm okay with that. It worked out. Like in the kitchen, I work with a lot of scraps, which, by the way, I don't like the word scraps. I prefer the word trim, but people don't seem to understand what I say when I say trim, so I just use the word scrap. I guess it's potato, but however you guys can understand that, there is something out of what seems like nothing. What could be trash could be a treasure for somebody else. And I think for most everybody, if you just took the time to look at the value of what you're looking at. And I want us to circle back to that later. But if you're on Instagram, follow me at the Madam Donut and join my broadcast channel. I live stream my podcast recording there every week, typically on Mondays, and then post the podcast the following week. So if you're a member of my circle, you can watch the episode a week in advance. I want to talk about what grounds me when it comes to creativity, and that is abundance mindset. Most people, when they think of abundance, they think of more, or more money, more time, more resources, bigger, stronger, whatever. But to me, it really is just a place of gratitude. Like, what I have now is enough to get started or to get going. It's not saying that it's perfect all the time now, and that just because I'm content with what I have now doesn't mean I'm not excited for what's to come or what could happen. It's just not limiting myself to where I'm at now so I can keep creating and not feel like I don't have the tools or the opportunity to create. So that's really what abundance mindset to me. I think it's deeper than just the material ownership of something. And when I say deeper, I don't mean for it to sound pretentious either. It's just really just being grateful. And I think it's really helped me so much to stay optimistic and to keep moving forward, because it could be super frustrating to keep trying and keep failing. And believe me, I have failed many times. I continue to fail, but I also continue to learn. I remember this saying that said, okay, maybe I don't remember that well. Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. And so I'll take either, because to me, either is actually getting something out of that experience. So that's just something that I hope I could leave you with. I know so many people who have failed because they didn't even start. I approach creativity with intention, with respect, and also with, beauty in mind. Typically, I love working with things that are underused, underutilized, underappreciated. I think I've always loved working with the underdogs. That's why I even started making donuts, because I always saw donuts as the underdog of pastries. It didn't get a lot of respect, So, so I wanted to garner respect for the donut, or the leftovers, or the scraps, the compost that can be elevated. There's good lessons in good bones. It just actually reminded me I have some shrimp shells in the freezer that I can make really delicious sauce with. But I digress, and that's for the next dish. So let's not talk about what I need to make tomorrow. But yeah, I want to be clear that I am not a perfectionist, although I want things to be crafted, and I always aim for excellence, so that even if the outcome is not exactly what I planned for, I know that I gave it a good amount of my time and care and attention, and so it's something that I can be proud of. So I think if you create from that perspective, like, you can tie your pride in anything that you do, you will push a little bit harder. You'll try things out that you probably haven't tried before. And again, failing at it is not a waste, because it could be a stepping stone for your next idea. And speaking of ideas, if you have a good one, I suggest you don't just abandon it if it doesn't work. Don't throw it out right away. A good idea, if it doesn't work the first time, maybe you just need to tweak it a little bit, make some adjustments, take feedback positively, and move forward with it instead of giving up. That's definitely one thing that even this podcast, I started this 2 years ago, and I had a 2-year hiatus after filming MasterChef. I was kind of not in the mood to be out there as much. I don't know if you guys noticed, after MasterChef, I kind of disappeared, actually. But I realized after a good amount of pause that this is something that I really enjoy doing. So I'm back, and you know what? I'm so proud of myself for coming back. If you started something, even if you paused, and in fact, maybe that pause can give you just enough time to think on it and tinker with it and improve upon that original idea. Like, I've made many dishes that didn't work out. I just don't serve it to people. Going back to that intention of making something beautiful will eventually get you there. I've always been told that I'm so good at making something out of nothing. And honestly, it's not because I'm more talented than the next person. It's just because I cared. That's usually what it is. I cared enough to make it better. I cared enough to, be stubborn, because that's one more thing. I think if you're stubborn enough to insist on finding something good out of that idea, you'll find it. Idea or a material, a product. Again, I'm going back to the leftovers, because that's kind of one of my themes lately when it comes to cooking. And it's one thing that I want to put out there and for people to take on as a challenge for themselves. We deal with a lot of food waste in this country, especially. And I don't think there's any excuse, even if you can financially afford to throw away food. Do your best no matter what. If you're someone who's trying to create a video or a meal tomorrow, or starting your small business, or creating a new piece of art, starting, tonight, not tonight, go to sleep tonight, tomorrow, first thing, just do it. Just do it. Like I said, I don't have any expert opinion on creativity other than I just have enough curiosity to keep going. Every trial, every error, every win, I learn something. And I'm just not one of those people who would just give up. I'm really, really stubborn. I think that's really almost everything I want to talk about this evening. Just in summary, these are the things I creatively live by. One is that perfection is a direction, not a demand. Don't pressure yourself in being perfect because it's debilitating. Two is doing most with less and thinking of the most beautiful ways I can work with less. Three is to stay resilient and grounded, but I'm always striving. As always, I thank you for joining me. If this episode resonated with you, please share it, save it, or just sit on it. And don't forget to subscribe. I have a new YouTube channel just for this podcast at Madame After Midnight Podcast on YouTube. I'm Madame Donut. You can also find me making something beautiful and tasty on my other main channel, The Madame Donut. Until next time, keep creating, keep caring, and keep circling back to what matters the most.